WTLZ Saginaw with Steve Harvey in the morning and simply the best R&B all day. Take us everywhere. Your smartphone, in your car, to work, or live at KissWTLZ.com. We're Kiss 107.1.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another edition of Straight Talk with Kareem Bowen. I'm so glad that you all have taken this opportunity to be with me on this day, whether you're listening to us from your FM dial, that's Kiss 107.1 FM, or you're tuning in via social media. We're going to ask that you like, tag, and share this conversation with those in the neighborhood. You know how we do. We call our family, our cousins, our play cousins up the street. Everybody in, come tell them it's time for some straight talk, where we give it to you straight, no chaser, no filter. Today's is going to be an interesting day. I'm feeling my way around the conversation, so I'm going to ask that you all would be very patient with me on today. Today I was prepared, and we have Brother Wesley is with us today. He was talking about what survivors are dealing with, those who have been impacted by gun violence. I told you we're going to do some spotlights and have some real conversations about that during the course of this next month of Sundays. And today we were going to talk about Saginaw's Bloody Sunday. That was the topic because earlier today, this afternoon, I received a phone call that there was a shooting. And then as I was preparing to get dressed to go check things out, I got another call about 30 minutes later, said that there was another shooting. And then before coming into the studio, the station today, one of the brothers put a picture in our chat of who the young man was that got shot. And I am personally connected and affected and am personally impacted by the loss of this young man. He is somebody, I'm not going to say his name because I'm not sure what they're releasing as it relates to the reports from police officers. And my hearts and prayers are with his family. This is really out of hand. On Saturday, I was at a funeral for Dennis Mays Jr., young man that was killed with an assault style rifle. His funeral was on Saturday, and I spoke with, this church full of about 300 young people who were mourning the loss of yet another friend. And on today, not one, but two shootings. And someone reported that there was also someone who was hit by a car in the process. So I'm praying that you all just embrace your loved ones that are around. Let's have some strong conversations with the kids. I'm sorry if my energy is a little bit off. I'm trying to get it back there. But this one really hit very close to home. And so I want you all to just bear with me as we get through this today. It is not, I'll work my way through it, but it is all super fresh. I just found all of this out within the last 15 minutes. So give me a second. We're in the studio today with my main man, my producer, Matt, a.k.a. White Soul. What's good, Matt?
What up, though?
What up, though? As I told you, we are continuing our experiment of cultural appropriation at its finest. And Matt will be he's going to be my experiment. I'm just joking back. Good to have you. I thank you for all you do. For those of you who are listening, if you come in and you like this conversation, you like to hear others, Matt is responsible for taking these shows, and then he makes them into a podcast. And he puts them somewhere in Never Never Land. I don't know exactly where they go, but you can go to KissWTLZ.com. I know that they are there. But then they're also on, if I'm not Odyssey, if I'm correct. And you can find these there as well. Continually, as you're right, I'm looking at those of you who are coming in. Rick Layden praying, Sharice Steele Phillips prayers, Hermosa Reina prayers. That is the nature that we need to have. We need to be praying for each other, praying for our communities, praying for our cities. And I know the way that I'm going to change this because I need to talk about something different. I have Sharika Martin. I'm going to get right to this. All of that other stuff I got to put on pause for a moment. I have Sharika Martin with me in the studio today, and we've been having some conversations about something really cool that she has going on. And I wanted to make sure that she came in, and y'all heard all kinds of ways of being smart and ingenuitive, and making things happen in the community, getting the things that you need, as well as those slightly tarnished things that you don't need, giving a space and a place for them. One man's trash is another man's treasure, is what we say. We have Sharika Martin. She has something that is happening in the city of Saginaw called Swap and Shop. Good afternoon or good evening, Miss Martin. Welcome to Straight Talk. All right, you need to come up closer. She ain't like, thank you, Dane. Thank you. No, this is the radio. We need to hear your voice, okay?
Thank you.
All right,
Can you hear me now?
yeah, we can hear you now. Try that one.
Good.
Testing.
Testing.
There you go. You do that, you'll be okay. We might give you a job in radio. But thank you for being here today, and we want to talk a little bit about Swap and Shop. What exactly is it?
It's a community reuse event, and it gives you an opportunity, like you were saying, to bring in some gently used or new items. It also gives you a chance, if you don't have something to swap with the community, you can just come grab something. But it's a free event. We also are going to be giving away back to school supplies too.
Isn't it crazy? It's that time of the year already.
Yes.
Where did summer go?
Right. I don't know. I don't know. That's a good question. Although we did come walking in at, what was it, 85 degrees today.
Yeah.
Yes.
So where did you come up with the idea of Swap and Shop?
So during COVID, I started getting adjusted to purchasing online, and I still wasn't really comfortable with buying clothes. So I'm still very nervous here and there. And so,
you mean online?
Yeah, like on purchasing clothes on like Amazon. And I happened to purchase 2 dresses, right, for an event, and just to be safe, right? And upon purchasing them, my plan was to return them. And Amazon was saying that it's easy to, if you don't like something and you haven't used it, you can return it.
It's never easy. It's the worst. Go ahead.
Well, this time it was smooth.
It was easy. Okay.
Was. I found the one that fit. I took the package back to UPS, and then a couple weeks later, I turned on YouTube, and I love watching documentaries, and you know how it'll feed you different ones that may interest you. And so one was talking about Amazon returns and the process. And that piqued my curiosity. So I clicked on it and did not know when I clicked on it what I was getting into. So they were telling me that Amazon, when you return items, which I had returned that dress a couple weeks ago, that sometimes they go to the liquidator, but majority of the time they go to the landfill. So they literally throw them away. And I had tried it on just as if I were at JCPenney's at the brick and mortar and trying it on, right? So I was just so shocked that that's the policy, the sanitation rules. I don't know.
I mean, they don't know if you have bed bugs in your home, if your kids have. They don't know what the situation is, so I could kind of understand that.
Sure. Yeah, no, I get that. I get what you're saying, but it just blew me away that they throw them away.
Such waste.
Yeah. And so after that, I started looking into textile goods as a whole, and they were saying that 60% of our garments are plastic, which I didn't know that either. So it just started waking me up to like, how can I contribute to this and get the community involved? You know what I mean? They were saying fast fashion is the second largest polluter in the world.
Wow.
Yeah. So if we can just circulate our stuff around, me and my friends have been doing it for quite some time. I had a birthday party recently and we did it, and it was a blast where we just brung, jewelry, purses, clothes, and find your size and take something home, all for free.
So everything is free.
Yes.
Swap and Shop. This is going to take place August the 3rd, which is this coming Saturday, from 1 p.m. to 4 p.m. Yes. And what's the location on that?
It's at the Buena Vista Community Center.
over at the BV Community Center.
Yeah.
This is going to be kind of interesting. So what types of things do people typically bring for your swap and shops?
Clothes, shoes, books. You could bring even a lamp, some houseware, maybe a pillow, just things that are light to carry. Because in the end, I will have Volunteers of America picking up the leftovers, but we don't want to bring a couch or
Small
medicine.
things,
Yeah,
small things that you can
yes,
easily move
yes.
that don't require 12 people, 12 brothers. Because y'all know y'all be looking, hey, you a big guy. Can you come help me? We ain't trying to do that, right?
Right.
Okay.
Not today.
So once again, this is August 3rd from 1 o'clock p.m. to 4 o'clock p.m.
Yes.
This is taking place at the BV Center, Swap or Shop. And I'm going to tell you, because I have some things, I was just having this conversation, I have some things that I don't use.
Okay.
Great condition. I don't use them. I'm I'm chronically that person that's on Amazon. I'm like, ooh, I need this. Ooh, I need this.
Sure.
I'm gonna buy something from Wish, like, ooh, I'm gonna get this. Oh, I bought it in a size 2X, and it came to me in a medium. Okay, so I'm gonna just put that in the one day I'm gonna lose weight to get down to that size. Y'all know how you do.
Yes.
So I got stuff in my closet with tags still on it, and you're saying, hey, this is a great opportunity to clean out those closets, those nice or gently used items that you have. Let's get rid of them. Let's use them because somebody else could actually use those even.
Yes, it's just a time for that, right? The economy is just changing so rapidly, and something for free. You know what I mean?
Man, you don't get nothing in this world for free. Are you sure it's free?
Free.
You ain't gonna slap us with taxes as we walk out the doors, are you?
Absolutely free. No.
Okay, well, people, if you are listening, straight talkers, I'm giving it to you straight. You know, if there was a backside of this, I give it to you. Like, y'all watch her as she walk out the door. I'll tell you where she gonna be at. But this is a free event, Swap and Shop, August 3rd, 1 o'clock to 4 o'clock p.m. Bring those gently used items out. Let's get involved. I see some people that are out there that are knickknackers. They like items, elephants, things of that nature. You know who I am, who I'm talking to. So figurines, statues, those kinds of things are great, especially when it comes to home decor. Small things that you can utilize, things of that nature.
Yes, please.
All right. So so is there anything else that we need to know, Ms. Martin, before we conclude this segment?
All are welcome. Like I said, it's free. You don't have to bring anything. Just come out. If you know someone that needs something, maybe come out for them too. Maybe they had to work. I know I'm competing with the Gospel Fest.
Yes, the Gospel Fest. I was going to say, the Gospel Fest is in full effect.
They can come before. It only takes a few minutes to run through the gym with me and then go right over to Ojibwe.
Ojibwe Island, absolutely.
Yes.
And the talent from the Gospel Fest is second to none. It's par excellence this year with who they have coming in. I mean, they got the Prince of Praise coming in. Then they have, Michael Hall, Todd Hall. Which one is it? I think it's is it Todd Hall or Michael Hall? I can't remember which, if it's Todd or Michael, but Mr. Hall will be there, as well as Dorinda Clark Cole. She is absolutely one of my favorite. I'm really excited about that. So if you guys need more information on it, you can go to Kiss WTLZ about that. But she's saying, hey, just come through. Please. It's not going to take you all day. Come by, support. This is a community event. Or at least drop those items off so that you can get those items.
I could also, if they wanted to arrange picking them up, I could meet them if they cannot make it, but insist on doing a porch pickup or meeting up somewhere after I get out of work. So that too.
That works as well. All right. So how can they get a hold? Do you have a website, email, text? What should they do?
They can go to the event page.
Okay, on Facebook. Okay.
Yes.
Okay, so there is an event page on Facebook. Swap and Shop. Check it out. Get with her. You can send her a direct message. There's all kind of ways for you to get your items there so that you can be represented. You may think, hey, I don't want anything from there, but you may have items that other people can use. And in a time when inflation is through the roof, it's important for us to be as smart as we can with the dollars that we have. I want to certainly thank you. And Ms. Martin, I'm going to tell you, I thank you because you provided a good diversion. As I said, when I first came in, I got slapped with some information. So this was a conversation that could kind of pull me and get me back on the right track. We're going to take a quick commercial break. When we come back, I'm going to ask my brother Wesley if he would come up, Wesley Willis, if he would come. Last week, a number of you were saying that you were really blessed by the empathetic tone of the conversation that we had on last week. And we're going to continue this week. And so he's going to have an opportunity to show some empathy toward me with what's going on. I need you to get your family and friends into this conversation. What happens when violence hits home today, this afternoon? It hit very close to home for me. And so I want you all to tune in. We're going to take a quick commercial break and we'll be back with more of Straight Talk.
Cannonball! Splish splash, Mid-Michigan. Are you underwater in your old ride? Ryan Wasik here from Belwasik GMC Buick, your only local Buick dealer and home of the lifetime warranty. If you're going off the deep end in a car you hate, bring it to me, and I'll give you up to $5,000 more than Kelley Blue Book value, based on the price of the car you pick. At Belwasik GMC Buick, we're all about affordability. Treading water in your old ride, even if you owe more than it's worth. My trade payoff assistance program is like a life raft. We help you get way more for your old ride and drive a nicer, newer car you love. My For the People trade-in process swims upstream. So if you're sinking in a car that's stinking, bring it to me. And you can get up to $5,000 more than Kelley Blue Book value, based on the price of the car you dive into. But hurry, a deal this good will dry up soon. I'm Ryan Wasik, and I'm your dealer For the People. See all the cars at RyanApproved.com. That's RyanApproved.com.
Credit requires bank approval. Negative equity may be refinanced. Kelley Blue Book is a registered trademark of the Kelley Blue Book Incorporated. Offer absolutely ends July 31st, 2024.
Hi, I'm John Pugh, asking you to vote for Dr. Pamela Pugh for U.S. Congress in the 8th District. Early voting starts Saturday, July the 27th. As Michigan State Board of Education President and Flint Chief Public Health Advisor, Pamela is a lifelong advocate for our community of Saginaw, Flint, Midland, and Bay City, and also the surrounding cities and townships. Let's send Dr. Pamela Pugh's voice to Congress. Your vote really matters. As a scientist, community leader, and statewide education advocacy, Dr. Pamela Pugh has dedicated her life to improving the lives of those in our district and communities. Please early vote Pamela Pugh for Congress. She is definitely the most qualified. Early vote this Saturday.
Life insurance. Why are you putting it off? Can't afford it? Too much hassle? Think you don't need it? There's lots of excuses for putting off life insurance. But if you weren't there, who would pay the mortgage and other bills? With Ethos, you could be covered in 10 minutes and boom, family protected. Ethos, fast and easy online term life insurance. Up to $2 million in coverage with no medical exam. Some policies as low as $1 a day. Answer a few health questions and get your free quote at checkethos.com. That's checkethos.com.
Hi, I'm Angie Hicks, co-founder of Angie. And one thing I've learned is that you buy a house, but you make it a home. Because with every fix, update, and renovation, it becomes a little more your own. So you need all your jobs done well. For nearly 30 years, Angie has helped millions of homeowners hire skilled pros for the projects that matter. From plumbing to electrical, roof repair to deck upgrades. So leave it to the pros who will get your jobs done well. Hire high-quality certified pros at Angie.com.
This is the KISS community page, where you can find out about all of the great things that are going on in Saginaw, Bay City, and Midland. Join Women of Colors and Algie Smith July 22nd for a movie screening entitled Young, Wild, Free, happening at 4 p.m. at Quality 10, located at 3250 Kabobo Drive. Entry is free. Popcorn is free. Join in for the great movie screening on July 22nd. Get ready for Gospel Fest happening on August the 3rd on Ojibwe Island from 12 to 6. Admission is free. On program, Dorinda Clark Cole, Byron Cage, Samaje, Todd Michael Hall. Join in for a great day of family fun and entertainment. There will be vendors of all types, food trucks, games for the kids, a gaming truck. Taco Bell will be on the island signing up people for jobs. Join in August the 3rd from 12 to 6 on Ojibwe Island. Get ready for the Black Male Summit happening on September the 19th. From 10 to 3 p.m. at Thompson Middle School, located at 3021 Court Street here in Saginaw, with special guest Hill Harper, star of ABC's The Good Doctor, author of Letters to a Brother. Black Men Sessions will include topics such as stop the violence, child support, get your mind right, representation matters. Once again, September the 19th. Community organizers, please submit your events at least 2 weeks in advance to kisswtlz.com.
It's Straight Talk with Kareem Bowen on Kiss 107.1.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. We're back with more of Straight Talk. We are here in the studio today. I have with me Wesley Willis. He is here, and on last week we began a conversation that has even more of a significance today. If you live in the city of Saginaw and you have been around, you were in town. I know there was, the Jazz Festival or something going on in Cincinnati or Columbus or whatever. So a number of people were traveling back from that event. But today, while I was out having lunch right after church service on today, I got a phone call, actually headed home. I had a relative that was in an accident, totaled the car out. And while they were sitting there, they were like, yeah, we just heard that there was a shooting that took place on Williamson Road, headed toward Bridgeport. And as we were talking, a little bit more, I left, went home, was getting ready to get dressed, and my brother Wes was here, and he was actually having a conversation. And Wes, and we'll pick up right here because I know that people don't understand how much it takes for you to share your story. And, we've had some communication, and I've watched you share openly how having this conversation on last week, I don't know if it triggered some things, but it caused you to have to deal with some of the things that you were dealing with. And you had a rough week this past. Why don't we start there? Let's start with, since our last conversation, let's talk about the journey from Sunday to Sunday, because you had a tough week this past week.
Up and down. Man, it bothers me because I'm not used to this. I went through it with my mom, my grandmother, my sister, father. But this one, could be all right 1 minute, and then the next minute, you just have a breakdown. I had a rough time today after church. I was driving, I just had a breakdown. I text you, said I might be able to come on the air today. So I'm sitting there, thinking, gather myself, and then I look on Facebook and I see the beginning of the video showing what was going on, and I was like, wow. And so then to hear, the young man, my brother, but man, to hear that mother when she arrived, man.
I'm going to share something with you. You sent me a text message, and when I got your text message, I was praying for you because I know that we had talked about the importance of us having these conversations for the village so that people can see that, we see what happens immediately. People are there. They're bringing cakes and fish and chicken. But after all of that is over, you still have to live this life. And you've got to deal with the voices. And I know, and I say that because so many parents always tell me that they hear their child's voice or they think of the last conversation and those things play over and over in their minds. Or they see, they're seeing things that were a part of the, the last moments that their child was around. So you sent me a text message and I got off the phone after I got the text and I started praying for you because I was like, wow, this is heavy. I mean, I can't imagine what it feels like. As I said to you last week, that you have entered into a fraternity that you did not want to pledge. And that is the one where a parent has lost their child to gun violence. Then you sent me another text saying, I'm going to be there. There was just another one. And I'm like, what are you talking about? I said, like another one. So I told you to call me. Like there's another one since the last one that was about 30 minutes ago. And you were like, yeah, bro. And then you were telling me kind of some of the details. And you said, go to the social media site and listen or watch the video. And when I went to the video, I could just hear the man. It hits differently now. I could just hear the cries of that father. And I thought about you. And I just could not imagine in the moment the pain that father. Then I heard a son talking about, is this his brother? And you could hear the anguish and the pain and the community residents who were being impacted. And that's the thing that we need to understand. Gun violence is not just an individual. When you kill an individual, you're not just hurting that individual, but you are hurting an entire community, an entire village that was supporting or loving on that child that is now dead. And once I got off the phone, I could hear the mother screaming and crying. And you were like, man, the sound of that mother is crazy. And I was listening, and I didn't want to play it again. So I was sitting there, I was like, wow, I don't want to deal with that right now. And before I was coming into the building, I got a text message with a picture of the young man. And the young man that was murdered was a young man that I mentored probably since he was about maybe 3 or 4 years old. And I've watched him, and I've had those tough conversations, and I would drive by and pick him up, and we would take him, to the movies and playing basketball. He was such a key part of my life for a long and significant period of time. And I pulled into the parking lot to come into the station. And so I had to call my family, and I was telling the rest of my family what was going on. And it hurt, and the pain was very real. And I said to myself, like, I would not want to ever experience this kind of pain if I were a parent. And then I began to think about it, both his mother and his father, whom I've known. I've known the father since we were probably in 8th grade together. I've known his mom, man, 27, 28, almost 30 years. And my mind went to how they must be feeling and dealing and coping with this loss. So I'm going to need you to give us some insight, Wes, and not that your experience, everyone grieves differently and everyone's experience is very different. But what was it about that situation today and hearing that another young person, we weren't sure if it was 1 or if it was 2 or what exactly the final numbers, there were 2 incidents. But what was it about that said, hey, I got to make sure that I'm here today?
That mother's cry. My child, my baby. Man, this is serious, man. This is deep. I always tell young people that I talk to that, and my son that's still, living has had some trouble. The decision that you make don't affect just you, affect those around you. Similar to what you said, you affect the whole community, right, man. And what really bothers me is like, you have to be really a really, really devious person to do this. And then I guarantee you, they sitting looking at the news, the video, of the mother crying, daddy, sister crying, whatever the case may be, man. How could you be so evil to do that and then sit back and watch the reactions of the family, man? It's crazy, but the detective, they can't solve this murder because they got another one happening already.
They're overwhelmed with murders to solve. It's the craziest thing on the planet. And so when you heard that and you heard that mother's cry, what did that mother's, because it was, and now that I'm thinking and knowing who it is, I can hear the voice and I can hear that sound, that pain, that anguish. What did that say to you that said, hey, I can't stay home, I got to come and speak?
I got to go speak and be a voice for her today. Because right now she can't be a voice for herself. And I understand how she's feeling. I've talked to some of the other parents, mothers, and asked them, would they be interested in coming on the show? Man, and it's so deep, and they still so hurt that they can't even do it.
Yeah.
A couple of them has been a few years.
Yeah, we were talking about that.
They can't do it.
And I think one of the things is one of the hard parts. And if you're out there and you're listening, Twan Williams, I see what you said. He said the worst pain ever. If you're out there and you're listening and you have experience in this, I would love for you to chime in. What's that number they can call? 989.
989-921-7107.
989-921-7107. I would love to hear your perspective, but I think one of the hardest things is I'm the type of person who always has to put a period or some type of ending punctuation in whatever situation, if it's a relationship, whatever it is. And I think the hard part is never being able to really find closure because you don't get the opportunity to say goodbye in the manner that you would want to say goodbye. And so it's hard to go forward when there is such a hole that is still gaping, that is wide open. When you think about it, what are some of the things that make it hardest for you, Wes? Because I know some of those women, we talked about them. I've called one in particular, and they were like, I am just not ready. And I respect that. And I pray that when they find their strength, that they're able to come back and to share their stories, not for a sensational story to be on the radio, but so that other people can understand. Because I think that when we understand a bit more, we can be more patient, we can be more long suffering. So when you look at this, Wes, what is it that you need most? I guess would be the question of the hour. What is it that you would need, that you think that would bring some solace to your current situation?
To capture the individual that did this. But another thing that I've been thinking about, and I have a mentor that I'll be talking to, and she said, you got to think about something as well. When the day do come, and then you have to go in the courtroom and look at this individual face to face, you have to also think about that and put in place a plan in your mind, in your head, and pray about controlling your emotions, because that could be emotional, and that could bring back all the anger and everything. The hardest thing for me right now is the last vision that I had. The last time I talked to my son, I was on a mini bike, and he was like, "Dad, what's your big butt doing on that mini bike?" But what overshadows that is the last time I seen him laying there with the holes in him and the blood everywhere. That's what replays in my mind 24/7.
You struggle with getting the image out of your mind.
Can't get that image out of my mind. And then the fact that I had to actually go down and close the casket myself, those two things are two of my most lethal visions that I have, that, man, just takes me there. But
well, you use the term lethal visions. Why that term? What do you mean?
It's a terrible, terrible, terrible vision to see that, a human being as well, but to see your child, with those bullet holes, and his mouth was over here, they had to put it back here and wire it together so it could be straight, dreads full of blood, holes.
And so you saw all of this firsthand.
Yeah, I seen all
wow,
that.
It's traumatizing. And I want to say my thoughts and prayers also with the family of those that were lost today.
Man, I feel so sorry for that mother, man. That cry, I don't think I'm gonna get that cry out of my head for a few days.
Yeah.
To hear her.
Yeah.
Man, and that's all I could hear. You guys out there, young guys, man, with these guns, and even you older guys that are giving these kids guns.
Let's talk about that, Wes.
Participating in that, man. Y'all destroying families, man. Y'all leaving kids fatherless. Every father's not a deadbeat. My son was far from a deadbeat. Y'all destroying these families, man, and the person that did that today, they need to have to sit there and just listen to this mother. Listen to how she crying. Listen to how she weeping. My baby, man. This is.
Yeah, you could hear it.
This inspired me to my goal in my mind now is to get with the right people like yourself as well.
Right.
And I want to be a motivational speaker dealing with this situation, man, because it's really done something to me. And like these parents, mothers that say they can't do it, like my friend Jasmine, she's strong, but she can't do it. So I want to be a local and a national voice for parents and siblings, and man, because this, man, it's deep, man.
Now I will say there are organizations that we have that are out there that bring children. I think Tamara Tucker, parents of murdered children or slain children. Yeah, let's make sure we have a contact with her. So there are organizations that try to get these individuals together, and nobody wants to be a part of that group. And we can understand why, right? I mean, who wants to continually have to, a lot of people feel like, if I continually talk about this, I can't get through it. But really, as you're understanding and you're sharing here today, that you're strengthened and you're empowered, the more you take control of that story and you share your son's story from the perspective that you want. You take control of whatever portion of the narrative that you can at this time, and you begin to share his story. This is what I want. You said something. You talked about being a public speaker and sharing those stories, and I think it's important to connect with those families. But I want to say this to my brothers that are out there today. If you're trying to do the right thing and you're not a part of the elements of the streets, we really need you to come and connect with what we're doing. We need brothers who are out there who are tired of seeing these young brothers, blood crying from the streets and families being torn to pieces. We really need you to come in and have these conversations. We need you to come in and talk with us so that as we talk about getting into the community, and it's time out for press conferences, photo ops, it's time out for Facebook posts. We got to get in the faces of these young people. And I know a lot of people will be like, man, these young people crazy. Well, guess what? If you're not willing to be bold enough to give your life for something, to stand for it, then it's really it's not worth having. And I'm at a point right now that if our last greatest work that we're able to do requires that we have to stand in the face of danger. And this is it. Anything that you want is going to cost you something. And if you're afraid of the situation, then you've lost the battle already. So we've got to be bold. There's more of us that have the desire to see change take place than there are those out there perpetrating. We know who the shooters are. You know who they are. But go ahead, Wes. You were going to say something.
You know what? I want to, on a positive note, shout out to guys that are really trying to help these youth. Your organization, Otis Ray and the Gators.
Northside Neighborhood Association, they're doing some stuff with the young men.
Alton Sanders and the 88 Express, Precious Pringle and her organization. They're taking these kids and trying to keep these kids going and keep these kids busy. And what I like about the Gators is he take them out of state, different places to see different
exposure,
things, to want to say, hey, I want to get out of here and make it, to do something better. But man, we are in a situation right now, but no one can help us and clean us up but the Lord.
The Lord, and then we have a role to play as well.
We got to work.
We got to work that is necessary. I want to say this to those who out there, those are AAU coaches. You mentioned Precious Pringle, who has been personally impacted in multiple ways by gun violence. Yes, Otis Ray and some of these other individuals who are AAU coaches.
Alton Sanders,
Alton Sanders. Can we
even say nothing to him? I know I can get him to come on here.
But I want to say this. As a village, and I've been talking, the reason we started this show, Straight Talk, back in 2018, it's crazy that it's been that long. But the reason we started this show was we wanted to repair the walls of the village. Now, we've gotten to a place where we can get real simple-minded and petty as a village. This is not a situation about who gets credit. This is not a situation about, we talk about people, Otis Ray, that's my guy. I give him money. I support him. My church supports him. I support him personally as an individual. People are like, well, they taking trips. Well, are you taking them when you go on your family vacations? Our kids need exposure. Yeah. They need to be able to get out of a mentality. And many of you may not realize, but there are some serious stressors that exist when you live in a city like the city of Saginaw. When you're continually living and you're not sure that if you go hang out, at an event, if you're going to make it back or if you're going to get shot, because as we said, we always say that bullets don't have names. You cannot have the kind of fun that we had when we were kids growing up. And if you don't have access to things, recreation, and green spaces, and just something that is able to change and challenge your mind to something that is bigger and better than where you come from, then that is a very, very dangerous place to be. So I salute those of you. Yes, it costs money. Yes, donate some money to those who are willing to take our kids out of the city of Saginaw. Especially shout out to those who are taking them on trips, because I'm going to tell you right now, I love kids. I love young people. But I don't know if I could travel internationally with all these kids, or even out of the mainland. And I see brothers doing that. I tip my hat to them, because that is a special kind of patience. Yeah. And there's not enough benefit that you get as a person out of doing that, because there then becomes a stress. Like, you got to make sure that these kids get home. And so we want to make sure that we're looking at those individuals. Kareem Hammond down in North Carolina. Guys, I want to say, whatever you guys are doing or want to do, I'm on board. I will come home and help if I need to. Wesley Willis, my brother, I'm still praying for you. God is a healer. I need to hear that you say it's your brother.
That's my brother.
Yeah. Kareem Hammond used to always get me in trouble because I'm the good Kareem. That's the bad Kareem, because he used to stay in trouble. But now I don't say trouble. I'm talking about trouble with the ladies. He used to always get me caught up. But I want to say to those of you out there, if you're listening and you're from Saginaw and you're not in Saginaw, and we're having certain things there, we need a moment where we bring all of our brothers home. Where if you're in the village, you come together. We got to get out of this mentality. I try to support as many people as I possibly can. Wes, I know that you're trying to do some really positive things. But we have to now get to a place. Honestly, this is a clarion call, because this is the Lord's Day. This is Sunday, right? Mm-hmm. Kids are supposed to be, have gone to church or been at home and eating family dinner, the things that kids are supposed to have the ability to do, and then preparing for it tomorrow. It's school's out, so they're supposed to be preparing to get with their friends and have fun tomorrow. And here on Sunday, and folks should get mad that on the Lord's Day, I think it was two individuals that were shot today, or whatever that outcome was, are dead on the Lord's Day, in between two churches. The spatially positioned in between two churches. What does this do? Like, what are we going to do in our community? What does it take? I mean, I'm sure that everyone it doesn't have to hit everyone personally before you can say, hey, we got to do something different. So I'm making a clarion call. Those brothers that are out there, make sure y'all get with us. We're getting ready to do some things. We're talking about neighborhood safe zones. We need brothers to walk the streets. Hear me. We need brothers to come together, walk the streets. Let's go to those gas stations, because we talked about this last time, Wes, that they all show up somehow at the gas. Maybe they're getting they Black and Miles, maybe they're getting their papers, but they for some reason always show up at our city's gas stations. We need to go out there and talk with the brothers as they're at the gas stations. We have to begin to do something, because this community is in dire straits, and it requires brothers like ourselves. If you're listening to what I'm saying, brothers like yourself, we need you. And maybe we don't know your number to call you. Maybe you said that you wanted to help before and you feel overlooked. We need you to get over your feelings and your emotions, because it's not about you. It's about our community. It's not only about those young men, but it's about the daughters. Who will our daughters marry? It's about the mothers, and mothers being able to feel safe. It's about our seniors, and our seniors being able to go home and lock the door and not wonder if somebody's going to get shot in the neighborhood or if a bullet's going to fly through and take them out. We are a community that is really about to be held under siege if we don't do something different. We're going to take a quick commercial break. And then when we come back from this commercial break, we're going to continue with this conversation. I want you all to share your thoughts on what we need to do. Give us some ideas, because we don't have all the answers. So we're relying on the village to be the village. Share your thoughts. We'll be back with more Straight Talk.
You're listening to Straight Talk with Kareem Bowen on KISS 107.1.
If you're looking to get a new car, you could really cut expenses by bundling your car and renter's insurance with Progressive. Sure, you love your old car, but you know it's not normal to give instructions on how to open the window. It should be self-explanatory, but it's not. And notice how when you're in other people's cars, you can feel cushion in the seats? That's pretty nice, right? No, it's just normal. So bundle your renter's and car insurance with Progressive and put the savings toward a new car. It's time. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company coverage provided and serviced by affiliates and third-party insurers. Not available in all states.
Hello, radio listeners. This is Mike from the used department at Moore Motor Sales.
And this is Dawn Foote from the new car sales.
Hey, Dawn, we got some great deals going this month. You want to hear what they are?
I do.
This month on select vehicles, we're giving $3,500 more than what your car's worth.
Mike, why would we do such a thing?
Actually, we won't. We will give you fair market value on whatever you're looking at. And you know why we're not going to give you that much money over what your trade is worth?
Because that's not possible.
It's not possible, and it's not true. What will we do for the first 10 people through the door?
We'll treat them just like the next 10,000 people.
So we're not going to do a special deal for the first 10.
No, why would we do something like that? We treat every customer the same.
So if you want a dealer who won't pressure you to race down here for false promises, but merely to get treated fairly and honestly, come down to Moore Motor Sales in Carroll, Michigan, and see me, Mike.
And me, Dawn Foote.
For the real deal. Moore Motor.
More Motor Sales just west of Cairo on M81. Come see why your friends and neighbors have been making the drive to Cairo for more than 59 years.
Listen to this station anytime, anywhere on Odyssey. Odyssey is your new audio home for all the music, news, sports, and podcasts that matter to you. Odyssey. That's AUDACY.
Hey, it's Steve Harvey, y'all. Here's what happened on the Steve Harvey Morning Show. If you want to be great, form an association with great people. I'm telling you, man, if you sit around people that's always talking about small things and you always around them, you got to jump in. Great minds discuss ideas. Average minds discuss events. And small-minded people just discuss whatever they doing in a negative way, in a negative slant. Don't let that be you. Kiss 107.1, simply the best R&B.
It's Straight Talk with Kareem Bowen on Kiss 107.1.
This is Kareem. We're back with more Straight Talk. I certainly want to ask that question once again. And those of you who are listening, if you're driving and you're sitting in your car, because I know a lot of you said that you like to listen to it on the radio, I want you to put in our chat stream, get to Straight Talk or Kiss WTLZ. We'll be monitoring that one as well. Or to my personal page, Kareem Bowen, and check out this live feed. We're asking the question, what is it that is your idea? What is your thought of what needs to take place? How do we need to begin to engage as we do this work? We need the community to get involved. Share your thoughts, your ideas. Many times people feel like they're not given a place or space or a platform to share what their ideas are. I want to solicit those thoughts and those ideas right now. We have Ruth Monroe. Thank you for tuning in, Ruth, this evening. Ask the gangbanger, one group at a time, why are they killing one another? Okay, I think they're having those conversations are going to be important. Certainly, thank you for your comment. I want to ask this question, and I think that this is one thing that we always come back to. Where are these young kids getting these guns, bro? We're seeing 14 and 12 and 15-year-old kids with military assault rifles or different types of guns, whether it's military assault or if it's just a pistol. There is legislation that says that you have to be of a certain age. If you're not 21, you're not supposed to be able to get purchase these guns, but yet we see, and these are military grade weaponry, and we're seeing these happening. So what's happening is we got some uncles, some mothers, some cousins, some friends, and even some folks who might drive across the bridge, supplying our community with weapons to young kids. And so we have to take an accountability. And I think, and I hope that if anybody knows of people that are putting guns in people's hands, come on, that is just foolishness. We would never send our kids off to war at 14 and 15 years old, 12 years old. Why in the world would we give them a military assault rifle that they are ill-equipped and untrained to utilize? This is just creating an environment for us to kill one another. And I want you to understand that for a long time, I thought a part of the premise was so that we would kill each other, so that we would begin to understand. And I'm going to say this because I didn't get a chance to talk about something that I was going to talk about today. A part of my conversation was going to be about our sister Massey, who died. What was her name? Massey, that died in Illinois. She was shot by police officers, and we are outraged, which we should be. But I am equally outraged when we have our own kids killing our own kids. It is unacceptable. And I know people say, hey, these are two different arguments. They absolutely are two different arguments. But the anger that I feel on both sides is really, it makes me. I know that other folks don't like me. I know that other people are afraid of me. But when I am afraid of myself, when I look in the mirror and I see another black man, and many of y'all will know what I'm talking about when you, there you go. Thank you. Sonia Massey, when what she had to go through. But the fact of the matter is we go down the streets and we're afraid of our own kids. Wes, there are so many people that say, hey, I'm not, you can't say nothing to these kids. These kids are crazy. They are crazy because we've allowed them to grow up like weeds instead of getting involved and pruning the pruning process. And so now we have a generation of kids who have no understanding, no fundamental basics. You know, we always, if you didn't want to go to church, grandma, somebody drug you to church, and you still had to go. Whether you found something different and you become enlightening and it's something different now, but it gave you some base moral characteristics that you could live by. We now have generations of kids. As I said on Saturday, I was at a funeral. The young man, Dennis May, is 24 years old, snuffed out way before I knew his family for a long time, but he was just 24 years old, killed by a 15-year-old kid. That young man is now going to be tried as an adult, and the family has lost Dennis. He's no longer with us, and we are sitting here and we continue and we just push forward. Wes, what is it? Is it, you know, somebody said this, and then I thought about it when you think about what was it, the movie with Ice Cube, Boys in the Hood, and his statement: either they don't know, don't show, or just don't care about what's going on in the hood. What is the issue that we're dealing with?
You have older people, guys, giving guns. You have some fathers who support their child going and taking care of business. You know, it's easy to buy a gun, scrape the serial number off of it.
Absolutely.
Push it on out there. You know, then you have no trace, then report it stolen. You know, I don't know, man. It's like it's become a norm. You know, it's become a norm to go to Facebook and say, "Oh, gone too early. Y'all took my baby. Y'all took my boy. Y'all took my dog. Y'all took my homie. Y'all took my friend. Y'all took my baby." It's a norm. I mean, when you gonna feel like, I don't want to see this happen anymore. I don't want to be a part of this. I don't want this to happen to me. I don't want this to happen to my brother, my friend, my sister. But it's like everybody want to hurt each other, man. Everybody wants to hurt each other. It's, you know, everybody ready to fight.
Let me ask you this question, bro, because you're still dealing with some of the anger from your son being gone. Is there something that has helped you to not let the anger lead that you might be able to share with someone who's listening today? Maybe with a brother, a cousin, an uncle, a father, that you might be able to share that may give them pause to not necessarily go out and to retaliate. I want you to share from your heart, bro. If there's anything, what is it that helps you to not allow the rage to take over?
It's simple. My grandkids. I have to make sure that they're okay. Not just his kids, but all my grandkids. You know, I'm my grandkids are my everything, and I can remember saying, you know, in the early days or weeks of it. Right now I don't care about going to prison for the rest of my life if I have to, because I want the person's blood on my hands. I'm just kicking it real with you.
Right.
If anybody don't like what I'm saying, turn your radio off. But I'm keeping it real. That's how I felt. That's what ran through my mind. But prayer and bringing myself together mentally, saying, no, you can't do that. You can't be that way. You're a man of God. I didn't want you telling me that.
Yeah.
Tell myself that.
Right. Self-talk.
Yeah, self-talk. So lean on prayer and prayer. I pray all night. I wake up praying. I go back to sleep praying. But I really don't sleep too much. It's like when I get into a deep sleep, I see that vision and I wake up. But man, we need more men to be men and not be 30, 40 years old with your pants hanging down and ready to pass on the gun to the next. I'm going to share a story with you right quick.
Go ahead.
A couple of years ago, I was in a store. I'm not going to say the store, but I was in a store late night. I was selling tacos that night, and I had ran out of some lettuce. So I needed some lettuce, and I knew this particular store would have it. So went to the store. I watched a young man come in and went around the counter, and the guy working at the store come out, gave him a assault rifle.
Wow.
He put in his jogging pants. He said, take care of your business and just come back when you're done.
Man.
Next day, I go in that same store. I say, hey, man, if you know anybody, I need some, man. I got some trouble. I got some problems. I need to. I don't know what you're talking about. But I just watched him the day before that. So you got things like that go on as well.
But those are people who are not in our community to really make a change, and they could care less about our people. And so I want to say this, and we're getting ready to close. This time goes by so fast. There are a lot of people out there that are hearing this conversation and could care less about what we're talking about.
That's right.
They don't care about your kids, my kids. They don't care about anybody kids in the village. And so they will continually come. They'll continually sell their liquor on our corners. They'll continually put those blunt wrappers in the corners, the Black and Milds, all of the things that keep us high, inebriated, and from understanding who we truly are as a people. We've got to begin to have some strong conversations with each other's mamas. And if you're a mom and you're out there today, I want you to call. I'll give you a number, 888-298-1945. That number is 888-298-1945. You can call that number because we have so many mothers who are afraid of their teenage kids. If you're one of those mothers and you're feeling that way and your kids are getting out of control, I want you to call that number and we will get in touch with you. You'll be able to reach us directly so that we can have some conversations about how we can save you in your situation, but also get in contact and stop your children from becoming casualties of this war in our communities. I want to thank you once again, Wes. We'll be here. We're going to continually try to bring some of those mothers who have lost children to this conversation table. Community, we are getting ready to bring our brothers together. I'm not talking about one organization. I'm talking about the city saying all of our brothers need to come together. It's not about help. It's not about the neighborhood association, the NABE, First Ward. This is a community effort. And we've all got to come in because we're all impacted by what's taking place. This is Kareem signing off as usual. Take care of yourselves and each other. God bless you all. Grace and peace.
Shout out.
You've been listening to Straight Talk with Kareem Bowen on KISS 107.1. The views and opinions expressed on Straight Talk with Kareem Bowen by the host, its guest, or call-ins do not necessarily represent the opinion of this station, the staff, its owners, Alpha Media USA, or its advertisers.
KISS 107.1.